It is 6 a.m. and you're watching Denver7 News. Hundreds of families rushed from their homes by flames.
I've got my car, I've got my wallet, and I've got me, I've got my neighbors.
A young man's life taken far too soon.
Just had a whole future ahead of him.
After 3 teens are killed in a week, there is a new push to end youth violence in our community.
No child should ever make their parent go through burying them because children can't put the guns down.
Plus, breaking ties with Tri-County Health. Douglas County leaders answer your questions about the future of public health during a pandemic. Big debate right now on the mask mandate. We'll get to that in a second. First, we want to get to the latest on a fire forcing evacuations near Evergreen. Good Tuesday morning to you. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Molly Hendrickson. The fire is burning about 2 miles northwest of Evergreen Lake. It has forced close to 1,000 evacuations.
We want to check in first with meteorologist Lisa Hidalgo, tracking at least more favorable conditions for those fire crews.
Yeah, a little better than the last week and a half, but unfortunately that was a week and a half of high fire danger, and that's what we saw yesterday. Temperatures, though, today about 10 to 15 degrees cooler. A cold front rolling through is going to usher in some cooler air, so we'll be in the low 80s here in Denver, mid to upper 70s there in Evergreen and up and through the foothills. So it is going to be quite a bit cooler than what we saw, and finally a break from the 90-degree heat. Here's a look at your emoji cast a little closer to town. By noon, we're at about 78, and then by 4 o'clock, 83. What we really need for firefighters is obviously a little bit of rain. With these storms that will develop, we're likely going to see a little bit of lightning. That could be a concern. We're also, though, going to pick up with it a little bit of rain, which is going to be nice. So up near Evergreen by about 2 o'clock, scattered showers and highs right around 74 to near 78 degrees. So we get a 2-day break from the heat, but for firefighters, I don't think that's going to be long enough. We want to send it out now live to Micah Smith, who is there live near Evergreen with an update on the fire this morning. Micah?
Yeah, Lisa, I'm at Elk Meadow Green open space, and right now we can actually see some of the smoke coming up from the fire there. You can almost see it rising in the valley. More than 1,000 homes are under an evacuation order this morning. This is being called the Elephant Boot Fire, and it's burning near Upper Bear Creek Road and Overlook Trail, so just a few miles from where I am. At last check, the fire was about 50 acres in size. We talked to one person who rushed to leave her home with just a handful of belongings. She told us this is something she's feared for a very long time.
I've lived up there for 27 years, and I've been afraid for 27 years that this was going to happen, and kaboom, it happened.
Now, right now, the cause of the fire is unknown, and at last check, it was 0% contained. Again, winds were definitely a concern yesterday, and firefighters are hoping for just a little bit of rain today. Reporting live in Evergreen, Micah Smith, Denver7.
And right now, the roads look open up in that direction, whether it's going to be on Highway 74 going there between I-70 and Evergreen, or going through Kittredge and Idledale. Take a look from the camera that we have right there along Highway 74, right by Stagecoach, and you can see very light traffic right now in that area, but you will find some fire-related activities later on this morning, and probably not restricting too much Highway 74. As you take a look at the rest of the drive, it looks okay, whether it's down through the Denver Tech Center. The north side is pretty quiet. We've had one crash down in the town of Parker, where Main Street turns into East Parker Road out there by Delbert, where a motorcyclist struck a deer, and so there's some significant injuries, but not seeing a big delay. But that's about the only thing we have going on so far on the morning drive.
Thanks, Jason. Denver Mayor Michael Hancock says it will take a full community effort to put an end to youth violence in the city. Over the past week, 3 teens have been shot and killed in Denver. Last night, South High School students gathered to remember 17-year-old Davari Armstrong. He was killed at a house party in Montbello Saturday. He played football, basketball, and ran track. Davari's mother says her pain should act as a lesson to end youth violence.
No child should ever have to watch their parent or make their parent go through burying them because children can't put the guns down.
To date in Denver, 48 people have been murdered. Denver police say 8 of those have been minors. Police have arrested the man they say is connected to at least one attack on the HIGHLINE Canal Trail in Aurora. Julio Gonzalez was arrested yesterday on unrelated charges. Police believe he hit a woman with a board as she was jogging near First and Moline Saturday morning. A similar attack happened last Wednesday. Officers aren't ready to say if he's responsible for that one yet.
State health officials are keeping a close eye on new coronavirus cases here in Colorado. Our partners at the Denver Post compiled the data and found last week our state saw the highest number of weekly cases since early May. This week has started off a bit slower. There were 329 new cases reported yesterday. That is down from the 666 we saw on Friday. 3 more deaths were reported yesterday. Our hospitals remain in good condition right now. Just over 330 hospital beds are in use by coronavirus patients. That's a third of what we saw in April. Health officials say it could be a few more days before we see the impacts from the 4th of July. Meanwhile, in Douglas County, commissioners will take your questions about their plans to leave the Tri-County Health Department, a process that could take more than a year. Denver7's Nicole Brady is live with the next steps the county plans to take. Nicole?
We expect there could be some pretty heated public comment at tonight's meeting, but it is still very early in the process. So tonight's Board of Commissioners meeting will largely just be a discussion. Again, people will be able to comment during the virtual meeting. I know that people have been both for the mask mandate and against it, and for the decision to leave Tri-County and against that as well. Now, in the official notice Douglas County's Board of Commissioners filed, they said that they may even pull out of Tri-County Health earlier than a year from now if the other member counties approve. But it's going to be a long and likely expensive process for DougCo to create its own health department. And it's not fully clear yet what kind of financial impact that will have on Adams and Arapahoe County, the 2 other counties in Tri-County. We spoke to a professor at Colorado School of Public Health who said multi-county health departments usually are more cost efficient.
It's easier to support that full range of public health activities when you've got a larger population and a larger tax base.
In addition to tonight's board meeting, Douglas County and Tri-County Health are also co-hosting a virtual town hall that's open to the public tomorrow afternoon at 4:30 p.m. You can log on to this website here, douglas.co.us/town hall, and watch that. And there will be public comment during that as well. The county said they received a flood of comments and questions after the Board of Commissioners made their announcement last week. So obviously people in Douglas County want to know what the future holds for public health here, and we hope to get more answers about that tonight and tomorrow night. We're live in Castle Rock. Nicole Brady, Denver7.
Douglas County School Board has revealed its plan for returning to the classroom next month. It includes 100% in-person learning, but parents can opt for online classes instead. If a student or staff member contracts COVID-19, they'll have to be isolated for 10 days. For anyone around someone who gets sick, they'll have to be quarantined for 14 days. That means if one child in a class gets sick, likely the entire class will be quarantined. Masks will be mandatory for middle and high school students. Research shows a higher rate of transmission in unmasked kids over the age of 10. For elementary school students, masks are a recommendation. Masks for staff will be mandatory. Schools in Los Angeles and San Diego will go to online only this fall. The announcement comes as Governor Gavin Newsom rolled back its reopening plans. Newsom shut down all indoor businesses across the state, and that includes restaurants, bars, theaters, gyms, and museums. In California, there is currently a record number of patients hospitalized.
We do have a positive update this morning on a Wyoming family stranded in Colorado after their van was stolen. We told you about the Fisher family yesterday morning at 6. While visiting here for a doctor's appointment for their special needs son, Lane, their handicap accessible van was stolen. It carries special equipment for Lane. So after setting up a Contact 7 Gives fund, thousands of people donated to help the Fishers, and your donations helped buy 2 new car seats, an extra $300 for food and gas to get them back home, and a $100 Target gift card.
Wow. Wow is an understatement. Can't say enough. Colorado, thank you. Thank you very much.
And from us, a big thank you to those who donated. It is never too late to make a tax-deductible donation to Contact 7 Gives. Just head over to thedenverchannel.com and look for Contact 7 Gives.
Driving along parts of Santa Fe Drive looks like this. 1 lane in either direction with no way to pull off in case of an emergency. A look at expansion plans coming soon.
Plus, a tragic update in the search for actress Naya Rivera, how investigators say she put the life of her little son ahead of her own.
And a team of researchers from across the world are playing an important role in helping a Colorado-made probe get to Mars. Lisa.
It's going to be pretty pleasant temperature-wise today. Right now we're in the 60s to low 70s. We'll stay in the 70s through late morning, through 11 o'clock. So a nice cool down today, low to mid 80s for highs. We will see a chance for a few thunderstorms this afternoon. So if you're out there biking, beware of that. I'll show you the timing of it coming up in just a few minutes. In 3, 2, 1. A cold front rolling into the state, bringing our temperatures down today. It's going to be a nice break from the 90-degree heat. We're going to be in the 70s this morning, so it's a pretty good-looking biking forecast. Dry through the first half of the day with the chance for some storms this afternoon, and highs are going to be in the low to mid-80s today. 80s again tomorrow. Another round of afternoon storms. Hot again, though, with more 90s by Thursday. In 3, 2, 1. We are finally going to get a break from the heat today, low to mid 80s for highs. We will see scattered storms and showers develop this afternoon with the risk of severe weather across the southeastern plains. A few more late day storms possible tomorrow, mid 80s on Wednesday, and then it's going to get pretty hot again. We're back in the low to mid 90s to end the week with more near triple digit heat on Saturday. In 3, 2, 1. A good-looking change to our forecast. Finally, some 80s, so it's a good 10 to 12 degrees cooler than what we saw yesterday. 82 for a high in Denver today with more scattered storms and showers this afternoon. We'll see a few more storms tomorrow afternoon, and then the heat returns. We're right back in the 90s, it looks like, to end the week.
Welcome back at 6:13. Search and rescue crews in California believe they have found the body of Glee actress Naya Rivera. She vanished while boating with her 4-year-old son on a lake in Southern California. That little boy is helping investigators learn what may have happened. They say Rivera and her son went for a swim and she did what she could to save her son.
The idea perhaps being that the boat started drifting, it was unanchored, and that she mustered enough energy to get her son back onto the boat, but not enough to save herself.
Fans and former Glee co-stars tweeted their grief and condolences.
Every Tuesday, traffic anchor Jason Luber takes on a traffic question driving you crazy. So Jason joins us now from his home studio. And Jason, this week, someone is upset about Santa Fe Drive and the fact that it hasn't been widened along that southern portion.
Yeah, there are two places along Santa Fe or Highway 85 between C470 and Castle Rock. Really, the couple of sections right by Lavier's and Happy Canyon Road that are still just one lane in each direction. So Joni from Sedalia writes, what's driving you crazy? Why hasn't Santa Fe Highway between Leviers to Castle Rock been widened? It's way too busy to be two lanes. If there's an accident, there's no frontage road either. Well, I have good news for you, Joni. CDOT, in partnership with Douglas County, has picked Castle Rock Construction Company to start doing just that, to start widening one part of the two-lane section of Highway 85 in Douglas County. Now, work started on Monday last week on that 2.5-mile section of the highway between Sedalia and Leviers. And the work will rebuild and widen 2 lanes of Santa Fe in each direction with the goal to ease congestion, improve access to those side streets, make some improved left turns. The drainage will be improved, enhance safety, put up some wildlife fencing, and also build a new bridge. That will just leave this one section of Highway 85 to still be widened here between Sedalia and Happy Canyon Road. It will be widened eventually, just not right now. I have a lot more information on this story, including the installation of a brand new traffic light there at the busy Daniels Park Road and Highway 85. That'll be coming up soon. All of that is right now on the denverchannel.com. Just click on traffic and driving you crazy.
Yeah, so much development out that way. Something has to be done. All right, thank you, Jason.
Denver is working to make sure businesses have enough personal protective equipment. Today, it will discuss a contract with Aura Labs that includes nearly $1.5 million in federal coronavirus relief funds. It would help provide equipment to Denver's smallest and most vulnerable businesses through the end of the year.
Colorado is going to Mars today. The Laboratory for Atmospheric and Space Physics at CU Boulder has been working with the United Arab Emirates to build a Mars probe called HOPE. The goal of the mission is to study the Mars atmosphere, but it's also about encouraging kids in Arab countries to study science.
Far more than a science mission, than a collection of hardware going to Mars. It is, in fact, to show that if an Arab nation can develop a spacecraft and send it to Mars in just a 6-year span, then there is great hope that better things are in their future.
And this project touches all points of the globe. The HOPE probe was built here in Colorado. The Mission Operations Center is in Dubai. The launch is in Japan this afternoon. It's expected to take 7 months to reach Mars. So we take a live look from our mile-high camera over downtown Denver here. A little gloomy, a little gray before a chance of rain later today.
Let's send it out to Lisa with a check of our forecast.
I'll take it though. It's nice not to have the sun beating down on us already this early in the morning. So a good change with a cold front rolling through within the last 12 hours. Things have really started to change up a bit. Here at about 8 o'clock, your dog walking forecast will be at near 70 degrees, 60s to 70s this morning with some of the cloud cover, and then scattered storms possible this afternoon. Our risk of severe weather in and around the Denver metro area is going to be low, but I'll show you where we could see some stronger storms coming up. The great news is we break that 90-degree streak. It's going to be a good 10 to 15 degrees cooler today. More rain expected this afternoon, hoping for that up and through the foothills for firefighters. We will be back in the 90s again by Thursday, so this is going to be a pretty short-lived break from the heat. Up and through the northern and central mountains, we had a few light rain showers overnight, mainly cloud cover now for us here along the Front Range. You can see that here from City Park. It's 66 degrees, winds at about 10 to 15 miles per hour, so fairly calm and mild this morning. You're at 62 both in Commerce City and in Littleton, closer to 70 though near Centennial and Aurora right now, coming out in the upper 60s. We do have clouds that have been rolling through this morning, and that'll break up a bit here through mid-morning. Fire danger does remain high, though, over the western slope. You can see the alerts there, so it's still going to be really hot. We're near some triple-digit heat close to Grand Junction, Moab at 100, Montrose 94, Craig near 90, whereas across the eastern plains, we get that break. Still hot to the southeast, don't get me wrong, some near triple-digit heat near La Junta, but as you get closer to Denver and Fort Collins, we're going to see some low 80s. Here's that risk of severe weather today. It's a marginal risk. It just clips the Palmer Divide, so close to Castle Rock and Castle Pines, and then stretching south and east from there is likely where some of the stronger storms will be. And you'll see that here on Futurecast. We'll get some building clouds by midday today. Rain developing first along the Palmer Divide from the Springs north up toward Castle Rock and up and through the foothills. And then those will be more widespread through the afternoon and early evening. So you'll likely see some wet roads and some darker skies by the time you're heading home. Overnight tonight into tomorrow morning, we do see some fog, some patchy fog across the northeastern plains, and even some drizzle through early tomorrow. So it could be wet there up along 76. More storms possible tomorrow afternoon, but we'll see more sunshine as well. Tomorrow's going to be a little bit warmer and a little more settled. 85 on Wednesday, and then those 90s return. We get a really big warm up through the weekend. 95 Friday. Jason, back in the upper 90s, close to 100 on Saturday.
And it's still really quiet here across the roadways. I'm not seeing any really big significant problems. There's one crash downtown as we take a look at the drive out to the west side of town. This is 6th Avenue coming in from Sims Union. You can see a gorgeous sunrise on tap for us here this morning. Plenty of sunshine to maybe slow us down a little bit on those eastbound routes, but it's not too bad for us here this morning. As you take a look at the map, we do have one crash into downtown right next to Coors Field at Blake and Park Avenue West. That shouldn't be a big deal for us here this morning. It's pretty light traffic across downtown. I'm not seeing any big delays. Look at that, only 16 minutes on I-25 in from that north side. 270 starting to get a little bit busy. I'm seeing a little traffic on I-70, but still, it's been a very quiet Tuesday, very abnormal for a Tuesday to see it this quiet and this easy. Same thing in the Denver Tech Center, 470, so nice and quiet. A good start here to the morning drive.